You know what's interesting? The moment you stop caring, that's when everything changes. Not because you're playing games, but because you finally woke up. You finally saw the truth. And if you're here right now, listening to this, then hit that subscribe button. Because what I'm about to say, most men will never hear. Most men will keep chasing, keep hoping, keep waiting for her to see. But you're different. You're here because something shifted. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about how women realize the true value of a man they completely took for granted. Here's the reality. She didn't see you, not because you weren't enough, but because you were too available. You were too predictable. You gave her certainty, and certainty kills attraction. That's not a judgment. It's just how it works. When you're always there, always responding, always making her the center, she stops wondering about you. She stops thinking about you. She stops valuing you. Because value is tied to scarcity, not in a manipulative way, but in a real way. When something is always available, we stop appreciating it, we stop protecting it, we take it for granted. And that's exactly what happened. You gave her your time, your attention, your emotional investment, and she got comfortable. She thought you'd always be there, no matter what she did, no matter how she treated you, no matter how little she gave back. And maybe she was right, for a while. But then something changed. You stopped chasing, you stopped texting first, you stopped being her emotional crutch, you stopped waiting around, and suddenly, she noticed. Not immediately. That's the thing most men get wrong. They think she'll notice right away. They think pulling back for 2 days will make her come running. But it doesn't work like that. At first, she feels relieved, she feels free, she might even enjoy the space. Because she's been taking you for granted so long, she forgot what it feels like to actually miss someone. But then the days turn into weeks, and she starts to wonder, why aren't you reaching out? Why aren't you checking in? Why don't you seem affected? And that's when it starts. The realization. It doesn't come all at once, it comes in small moments. She sees a guy who reminds her of you. She hears a song you used to like. She has a bad day, and for the first time, you're not there. And it bothers her, more than she expected, because she built her routine around you, her emotional stability around you, her validation around you. And now that it's gone, she feels the absence. She starts remembering the good parts, the way you listened, the way you showed up, the way you cared, things she ignored when you were there because they were just expected, but now they're gone, and she's feeling the weight of it. Here's what most men don't understand. Women don't value what they have. They value what they're about to lose. And I'm not saying that to be harsh. I'm saying it because it's true for both men and women. We all do this. We take for granted the things that are always there, the people who always show up, the love that's always given until it's not. And then we panic, we scramble, we try to get it back. But here's the thing, you can't go back. You shouldn't go back. Not to who you were, not to how you acted, because that version of you gave too much, expected too little, and lost himself in the process. And that's the deeper truth here. The reason she took you for granted wasn't just about her, it was about you. You allowed it, you taught her that your time didn't matter, that your needs didn't matter, that your boundaries didn't matter, and she believed you because actions speak louder than words. You can say you have self-respect, but if you're always available, always accommodating, always sacrificing, then your actions say otherwise, and she'll treat you accordingly, not because she's cruel, but because you set the standard. So when you finally pull back, when you finally start living for yourself, when you finally stop making her the center, she feels it. She feels the shift, and it confuses her because the man she took for granted is no longer that man. You're not chasing anymore. You're not begging anymore. You're not waiting anymore. You're just living, building, focused on your purpose, focused on your goals, focused on your peace. And that creates a vacuum, a space where she used to live, in your mind, in your time, in your energy, and now that space is empty, or worse, filled with something else, something that doesn't include her. And that's when she starts to panic. That's when she reaches out. That's when she starts asking questions, trying to reconnect, trying to see where you are. Not because she suddenly loves you, but because she's losing control. She's losing access. She's losing the role she played in your life. And it scares her because deep down, she knows you were solid, you were stable, You were real, and she threw it away. For what? For attention from other men? For the excitement of uncertainty? For the comfort of keeping you as a backup? Whatever the reason, she's realizing now that it wasn't worth it. But here's where you have to be careful. This is the moment. Most men mess up. She comes back, she's sweet again, she's interested again, and you think, finally, she sees me, she values me now, and you let her back in. You drop your boundaries. You go back to who you were. And within weeks, sometimes days, she's taking you for granted again. Because nothing actually changed. She didn't grow. She didn't learn. She just got scared of losing her safety net. And once she knows you're still there, still available, still willing to accept less, she goes back to her old behavior because you never made her feel the real consequence of losing you. You just gave her a scare, and that's not enough. Real change requires real loss, real consequences, real boundaries that don't bend. So if she comes back, you don't celebrate, you don't rush in, you stay grounded, you stay focused. You ask yourself, has she actually changed, or is she just reacting? Is she here because she values me, or because she's uncomfortable without me? Is she willing to meet me as the man I am now, or does she want the old version, the one who gave everything and asked for nothing? And if you're honest, most of the time, she wants the old version. She wants the guy who made her feel safe, without her having to try, without her having to give, without her having to respect you. And that's not good enough. Not anymore. Because you've changed, you've grown, you've realized your value. And you're not going back. Not for her, not for anyone. Here's the truth. A woman realizing your value doesn't mean you take her back. It just means she finally sees what she lost. And that's her lesson to learn, not your problem to solve. Your job isn't to wait around, hoping she'll appreciate you. Your job is to build a life that makes you proud, with or without her. And when you do that, when you truly detach from the outcome with her, one of two things happens. Either she comes back and she's genuinely different, humble, respectful, willing to add value, not just take it, or she doesn't come back and you realize you don't even care because you've built something better. You've become someone stronger and you're no longer interested in being someone's backup plan or someone's second choice or someone's emotional crutch. You're interested in partnership, in respect, in someone who sees you while you're there, not after you're gone. And that's the standard, that's the shift, that's what changes everything. Most men are walking around, hoping to be chosen, hoping to be seen, hoping to be enough for women who don't value them. And it's destroying them. It's destroying their confidence, their peace, their self-respect, because they've made their worth dependent on her approval. But the moment you stop, the moment you pull your energy back and invest it in yourself, everything flips. You stop being the guy who's hoping to be picked, and you become the guy who's doing the picking. You stop asking, am I good enough for her? And you start asking, is she good enough for me? And that's not arrogance, that's self-respect. That's knowing your value and refusing to settle for someone who doesn't see it. And when you live like that, when you operate from that place, women notice, especially the ones who took you for granted, because they see the difference. They see that you're not chasing. They see that you're not waiting. They see that you're not broken, and it makes them question everything they thought about you. They thought you needed them, but you don't. They thought you'd always be there, but you're not. They thought you were weak, but you're stronger than ever. And that contradiction, that shift in perception, is what makes them realize they messed up. But again, that realization is not your reward. It's just a milestone in your journey, a sign that you're on the right path, a confirmation that you made the right choice by walking away and focusing on yourself. So don't get distracted. Don't get pulled back into the drama, into the emotions, into the hope that maybe this time it'll be different. Stay focused on your mission, on your purpose, on becoming the man you're supposed to be, and let her deal with the consequences of her choices, because that's not your burden. That's hers. You've already carried enough. You've already given enough. Now it's time to give to yourself, to invest in yourself, to protect yourself, and to build a life that doesn't revolve around someone who didn't see you when you were right there. That's the real power move. Not making her jealous, not playing games, not posting on social media, just genuinely moving on and building something real, something solid, something that reflects the man you've become. And when you do that, you'll attract different energy, different women, different opportunities, because you're operating from a different frequency. You're no longer desperate, no longer needy, no longer hoping for external validation. You're grounded, centered, purposeful, and that energy is magnetic. It draws in what's meant for you and repels what isn't, including her, if she's not ready, if she's not willing, if she's not capable of meeting you where you are now. And that's okay. That's actually perfect because you don't need her. You never did. You just thought you did because you confused her presence with your purpose, her attention with your worth, her approval with your identity. But none of that was ever true. Your worth was always there. Your purpose was always there. Your identity was always there. You just forgot because you got lost in trying to be enough for someone who didn't appreciate it. But now you remember. Now you see. Now you know. And you're never going back. Not to that version of yourself. Not to that dynamic. Not to that pain. You're moving forward with clarity, with strength, with self-respect. And if she realizes your value along the way, that's her journey, not yours. You're not responsible for her regret. You're only responsible for your growth. And you're doing that every single day by choosing yourself, by honoring yourself, by protecting yourself. So keep going, keep building, keep growing, and let her realize whatever she needs to realize on her own time, because you're done teaching, you're done waiting, you're done hoping, you're just done. And that's not bitterness. That's not anger. That's freedom. That's peace. That's power. And if you felt this, if this resonated, if this reminded you of who you really are, then hit that subscribe button because you're not alone. And this journey, it's just beginning. Stay strong, stay focused, and stay true to the man you're becoming.